Hi, this is Kimberly. Have y'all been wondering where I've been? I have too. I mean, this one day fades into the next, and before I know it, the day is over. But I've been really busy with Christmas and grandchildren and stuff, and then I've been a little bit under the weather too. So just, y'all know my backstory, most of you. If you don't, I'm slow and I'm a procrastinator. Anyway, today I will play for you the next to the last installment of Chris McNabb's third interview with lead investigator Jeff Alexander of the Newton County Sheriff's Office in Covington, Georgia. Chris McNabb at this point had been charged with his infant daughter's murder in October of 2017. This interview took place December 13th of 2017. So he had been locked up, as he called it, for 2 months now. Chris McNabb at this point had been charged with his infant daughter's murder in October of 2017 after initially being arrested for a probation violation. According to the warrant, Chris McNabb struck his infant daughter with an unknown object. Quote, "This action did cause the victim's skull to be seriously disfigured and damaged beyond repair." End quote. That's a tough one. But we got to remember what happened to this poor baby. And I tell you, I am more confused than ever on who I think did this. We'll get into that another day. I have a lot to yammer on about, and then a good 40 something minutes beyond that of the interview. And I'll have one more, like 40 to 45 minutes of the interview for the last one. After little 𝐂𝐫𝐢's body was located in the woods next to the trailer park where Chris McNabb lived, along with Courtney Bell, who is 𝐂𝐫𝐢's mother. Chris and Courtney are first cousins. However, they're also girlfriend and boyfriend. A forensic examination was able to determine that baby 𝐂𝐫𝐢 died from blunt force trauma to the head, as I said before. So, if you're new here, or if you've not been following this case, no worries. You'll be looking for that rabbit hole to dive into inside of 10 to 15 minutes, I guarantee it. It's like one of those soap operas back in the day, and you'd only occasionally see it if you were homesick from school or on a school break, and then when you were older and took a mental health day so that you didn't body slam that annoying coworker. Yes, it'll pull you in just like that. Yeah, so many people have slowly gotten interested in this case. Now, a lot of people didn't like it at first, but it's very involved. Chris McNabb likes to talk. His first interview, he didn't talk much. Except for the part of where he didn't get a lawyer, he kind of did what he was supposed to do. He answered questions and just kept it short to the point with facts, which is how you should be. But, I think he thinks he's friends now with Mr. Alexander. Chris likes to talk. I like to talk. But he talks and talks. And have y'all noticed that when Investigator Alexander thinks Chris 2.0 is lying, he'll kind of start shifting in his chair? Then sometimes he'll lean back and cross his arms, and sometimes he leans forward, and then he leans back or back and then forward, and he'll put his chin in his hand, take his chin out of his hand, but he noticeably, like he just wants to get up and just push him against the wall or something, get him to talk and just tell him what happened. It's got to be pure torture to sit and let someone nanner on and on for hours on end and not participate much, because you want them to just keep going and going like the Energizer Bunny. Like a flippin' geyser he goes on. That's what you do. You just let people talk. Because if there's a lull in the conversation, a lot of times people will just talk out of nervousness. So you just be strong and let there be that silence. The other person will talk again. They'll make some kind of move, either leave but you'll force them into doing or saying something. Just a little trick I know. Look at poor Mr. A sitting there patiently, waiting for this scatterbrained whippersnapper to spill the beans and accidentally reveal too much information. At this point, he must be strong as he silently imparts that Daddy Chris 2.0 is in the bowels of a safe harbor and should go forth with spewing with the liquidy verbal diarrhea. And Investigator Alexander always has to resist the initial urge to just bolt up out of there like his fucking pants are on fire. You know, when Chris comes out with one of those outrageous statements that he's being totally serious, but it sounds funny. If Mr. A looks like he's gonna laugh, he'll just put his hand over his mouth. Watch his body language as Chris is just yammering. Don't you think, after sitting there hours listening to someone talk, that you just want to flee from there and never look back? Screaming and crying and giving your resignation as you run out the door. You're got that crying snot running down into your open mouth and you're hiccuping and crying for mommy. Then you trip on the rug as you leap over the security x-ray body scanner and the underpaid rent-a-cop standing there with his metal detector wand in his hand, and he has no idea what to do. And then he questions, does this fall within my job description? Then he contemplates a career move. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Chris says, you know what I mean? After every other sentence. And Mr. A goes, he's Chris and shit 2.0 for many, many reasons. For one, he's chicken shit. And he admits it. He says, I was scared. I was scared. Number two, they have a stupid saying that they, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, and it's like, and I was like, and she was like, but Mr. A doesn't do anything like that. He doesn't go running out of the building screaming and crying and shit like I would. He's all professional and shit. And he knows that by sitting there looking at the suspect or the accused and not talking makes them so nervous, they nanner on and fucking on. Chris and Shit 2.0 has developed an affliction while he's been locked up. It's called 𝐂𝐸𝐬, which is pathologically excessive and often incoherent talking. In layman's terms, it's called diarrhea of the mouth, also known as LIEarrhea. See, LIEarrhea, 𝐂𝐸𝐬, it's basically the same thing. Now, with this disorder comes issues, concerns, challenges, difficulties, and matters relating to this misfortune. Sometimes when you get excited about something, such as Chris 2.0 did when he finally got to talk to Courtney, well, you know, 'cause he loves her with all his heart. She'd been avoiding his phone calls, and it was just tearing him up inside. And then finally, she did talk to him, who conveyed to him that she was informed at a meth party, a social gathering, of a possible blameworthy, evil-doing bad guy that could be the agent of or cause of their daughter's death. Well, this has become a fraught situation. In this variation of 𝐂𝐸𝐬, you might not be aware that you need to talk. This can lead to passive running off at the mouth, loose watery spilling of your guts, irregular vowel movements. Now, the most common cause of vowel incontinence is damage to the muscles around the anus, so shit comes out your mouth. Furthermore, the loose watery vowel movements is not a short-term problem. It may or may not be one that happens on a regular basis, where you suddenly feel the urge to run your fucking mouth. These are some of the things that could happen during a flare. And remember, Chris was having a full-blown shoot-the-breeze eruption outbreak. Blabbing and blabbering, chit-chatting, gossiping, revealing secrets, spitting it out. He was blowing the whistle, making shit known. He spilled the iced tea. He bared his soul and was direct and frank. Diarrhea of the mouth goes cheek by jowl with irritable bowel syndrome. Running your mouth incessantly leads to random attacks of collywobbles. This in turn provokes explosive LIEarrhea. It is quite possible to induce a decline in your vowels, and in the end, vowel prolapse, where your rectum drops down into your anus and vocalations emerge from your ass. Your rectum.
And yes, it's just what it sounds like. You're talking out of your ass at this point.
Thusly, it has no choice but B-U-T-T. I don't mean to be crass, but it is what it is. But to come out another orifice.
Excuse me, I mean orifice.
Most often your pie hole. It thrusts and bumps its way through your damn mouth because it's constantly open, full of shit, expelling hot air, baloney, and drivel. As Chris gets older, this will most definitely develop into diabetes. He's already showing signs of it. So let's review. LIEarrhea is from the family of diarrhea of the mouth.
A sure sign that you have diarrhea of the mouth is LIEarrhea.
And then comes the collywobbles. Irritable bowel syndrome is a serious affliction where your ass pukes out of your mouth. Investigator Alexander wants desperately to say, what in God's holy name are you sassing and blathering on about? Good God Almighty, son, are you sassing about blathering on about pointless drivel or something? Despite all of these violent symptoms, one amazingly will never bite their tongue. Alternately stated, one never once shuts the fuck up. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? He says, you know what I mean, while he thinks up some more drivel to shit out of his pie hole. Mr. A doesn't seem to mind being forced to sit through ridiculous drivel. At times, he appears to be entertained. I like that Chris 2.0 admits that he's a chicken shit, although that does take some of the fun out of it for me, that he owns up to it. I've lost count how many times he has fessed up to Mr. A about being a wimpy crybaby Chris and shit. I'll have to do a compilation of him talking about, I was scared. Man, I was scared. I was scared of my probation violation. When I get done with this trial, y'all remind me if you want to see a compilation of Chris and Shit 2.0 fessing up to being scared. You must be asking yourself, how long does this drivel go on? But are you talking about me or Chris 2.0? Well, one more video of around 40 or so minutes after this one today of him just talking non-stop to lead investigator Alexander, who is the perfect man for this job. Chris had a lot to say, talking all big and being full of hot air and shit. Remember when he told Mr. A, I'm a working man now, when he had just said that he hadn't been to work all week and he works for his dad and he could pretty much go when he wants to. I don't think he even has to call in. He just don't show up. Or sometimes his dad would show up to pick him up and be sitting outside blowing the horn and then would just drive on because he would never come outside.
How disrespectful and uncouth and rude to your father. Fuck out of here with that shit.
But Mr. Alexander, have you noticed, can barely contain himself sometimes as he sits and listens as Chris insists on running his mouth nonstop without a lawyer. He almost fell out when Chris dramatically demonstrates in this video how he was praying in the car on the way to where baby 𝐂𝐫𝐢 was found. You know, before he bailed out of the vehicle with the assistance of Aunt Pam, who also happens to be his former girlfriend. You see, Aunt Pam is also Courtney's mother. And Courtney, of course, is his current girlfriend. Or was at the time. I think they're off again. But this boy has no shame, you know what? But back to what I was saying. Mr. Alexander can barely contain himself sometimes as he sits and listens to Chris nanner, and he gets all awkward and shit with his arms, and he comes up out of his seat a little bit like he wants to slap him upside his head and bust his chops because he won't button his lip, and make a long story short, put a sock in it and shut your face. Maybe I should do that too. I was going to talk about their phone situation, but that shit I just talked about right now kind of took precedence, and it's made me a bit nauseous, so I'll save the phone drama for the next video, so y'all be sure to tune in for that. You won't want to miss any minute of it. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I do hope you enjoy this continuation of Chris McNabb's third interview that he requested with lead investigator Jeff Alexander. Chris had a total of 3 interviews, and that's a lot of damn talking. Hours and hours upon hours. So, quite enough of Kimberley spouting off for quite a long-winded time. I do apologize. Please enjoy. Much love and peace. Thank you for listening.
And me and Courtney changed her diaper together in the bathroom. And while we were changing her, she had on the long sleeve onesie or twosie or whatever you call those things, the feet on. And I had questioned that blood. It was a little bitty, you know what I mean? But I noticed it. And I was like, is that blood? And she was like, I don't know. And I was like, was she bleeding? You know what I mean? And she wasn't bleeding, nothing. I mean, she wasn't bleeding. She didn't have any wounds or anything. Like, there wasn't no scratches on her that were bleeding or nothing, anywhere in that area. But I had like a cut on one of my fingers. And Courtney was like, well, maybe it's your finger. It was out. You see the scar? So, maybe, you know what I mean? I don't know. But, maybe it's that cut. Or whatever on her finger. And I was like, all right, whatever. You know what I mean? And we took that off of her. And I took her and before I took her back in there and laid her down, I was holding her and I felt her, she was shitting again. So we changed her again. And then I took her and I swaddled her up in her blanket. And she had on that, I'll never forget what she was wearing. She had on that purple outfit. And it said, my daddy works out or something like that. I like that outfit. And I swaddled her in her blanket. Blue. Light blue. Had light layers on it. And I laid her down. And I believe that was the last time that she came awake before I fell asleep. And I remember that night, I was trying to log on my Facebook and I couldn't. It was Jordan 𝐂𝐸𝐬. I was trying to log in on it and I couldn't get in. It was like either I forgot the password or I was putting it in wrong. Maybe somebody changed it without me, knowing it or whatever, but I couldn't get in. So that was when I started making the other one. I'm like, well, I can't get in this one, so I'm gonna make another one. And I made it. Courtney was still awake because I remember saying, hey, what about this name? Because it was slightly different from the other one. The new one, the last name was Indy instead of 𝐒𝐫𝐢𝐬. I was like, what about this name? You know what I mean? And she kind of laughed about it, just like, whatever. And I put a picture on it. And that was kind of what made me mad. He showed me that picture and he showed me the time. I thought that it was somewhere between 12 and 3. When we fell asleep, I thought it was earlier. And he showed me that time that I put that picture on there, said 5:34, I believe. And I just felt like it was earlier than that when we fell asleep. But obviously it wasn't. But it was like he was trying to tell me, we know you didn't go to sleep. We know you wasn't asleep. It was kind of what that made me feel like he was saying. That's why I got mad. I mean, I was on go too, and I didn't have a clear head, really. You know what I mean? My head wasn't clear. My head's clear now. I haven't been on any drugs or anything. I mean, I take mental health medication now. I take Seroquel, but my head's clear. You know what I mean? But I finally ended up, before I went to sleep, I remember trying to get back on that Facebook again, the first one. And I got back on it. And Courtney was still awake. And we were talking. And she had the music on that white, and I told her to turn it. She turned it. And I might have had to go back in there and feed 𝐒𝐫𝐢𝐬 one more time, maybe. I can't. I'm going to say that last time I time, but I can't be 100% sure. Yeah, I had to go back in there again and feed her. And when I came back in, after I got done feeding her or whatever, she didn't really eat a whole lot after that. I fed her a little bit, and she was done, and I burped her, and I put her back down. Just in the same outfit, the same blanket, the same way I did the first time. I put her back to sleep. When I went in there, that's when Courtney was falling asleep. She wasn't asleep, but she was kind of like she was going out, you know what I mean? I could tell. So I went back in there. She had a cigarette in her hand, and I took the cigarette, and I lifted her legs up. I sat down, put her leg on top of me, and I went to get on my phone. I was like, "What? You gonna go to sleep?" She was like, she was kind of tired or whatever, I guess. I was tired too. The dope didn't really have me. I wasn't geeked up. Like I was on it, I could feel it, but it was like I was tired too because I'd been up for a while. I mean, I slept that day, but I had been up a long time before, some days, and I hadn't caught up on my sleep. I slept that day or whatever, but it wasn't enough because when the kids got back, I didn't go back to sleep. You know what I mean? When the kids got home, I didn't go back to sleep. I stayed up with the kids because I missed them. And so she fell asleep, and I got bored after about 10 or 15 minutes. It couldn't have been no longer than 20 minutes after she fell asleep. I just put the phone down and I went to sleep too. I laid my head down on her leg, and the next thing I remember is the phone going off. It was a text, and it was my dad. And the text came in at 9:30 in the morning, 9:30 something in the morning, and he said, "Are y'all up?" And I just said, "Yeah," because he woke me up the phone. And he said, "Well, I'm about to go to the store and send you some money." I'm like, "Okay, thanks, Pop." You know what I mean? And I laid my head back down and went to sleep. And an hour later, I did. I got up and checked on the kids. I went back there, as a matter of fact, I was cold when Betty came up the phone. And I was sure Courtney was cold too, so I went back there when I checked on the kids, and they were there. I got grabbed our blanket off the bed. And I went back in there. I lifted Courtney's legs up, got back under her legs, covered us up with a blanket, put my head back on her leg and went to sleep. And I guess an hour later, Clarissa came in. Clarissa came in like acting funny. Not crying, but whining. And I mean, she would do that sometimes when she would wake up and we wasn't in the room with her. But she was acting, it was a little bit different because it was like, she was kind of acting a little scared. And I just thought, I thought it was fun the way she was acting, and Courtney did too, so Courtney said, "Get up and go check on baby." I got up. I went back there and she wasn't there. And I hollered out and I said, "The baby ain't here, Courtney." And I started, looking. I looked under the bed, lifted up Clarissa's bed. I noticed that bin was moved. I was looking, we looked. I ain't gonna say we tore the trailer up, but we were looking into stuff. We were moving stuff and, looking in toy boxes and anywhere, everywhere. Closets, bathroom. She wasn't there. And that's when we started asking Clarissa. "Where's the baby, Clarissa?" "Gone." She said, "Gone." And I'm like, "Where? Who got her? Who got the baby? Who got baby Sissy, Clarissa?" And that's when we went to really looking in the house for her and couldn't find her. And Clarissa was following me around the whole time. I'll never forget that. She was close to me the whole time. Like she was scared, you know what I mean? And she knew what was going on scared her. And she knows that I'm her protector. She knows I'm the one that's going to protect her. She just knows that. Kids know Daddy's a strong one, you know what I mean? Kids know. Even Clarissa knows. And guess she just felt like staying close to me, you know what I mean? And I will never forget that. And I told Courtney, I said, you need to call the police. And I went to get dressed, and that's when I put on the black pants and then the black shirt. And the red shoes. And the Looney Tunes in it. And I told Courtney, I said, before I got dressed, I went outside and I walked down the whole trailer and I was looking up under the back porch. You know what I mean? And I went around the trailer looking and she was outside and she wasn't out there. I didn't see no trace, nothing. I went back in there and I started getting dressed and I told Courtney, I said, you need to call the police. But she had to call our friend up on the hill, Missy, to come down there and help her look. And when Missy got down there, I was still there. I was leaving out the front door when she got there. And I said, I'm going to look. I'm going looking. And
let me ask you this, Chris. What was you going to look for?
Anything. At the time, I didn't realize that her pacifier was still in the house. I didn't realize that her pacifier was still there. She had the orange pacifier was the only one she liked. And I remember that how I put her to sleep, the only thing that was the orange pacifier and then the blue blanket. You know what I'm saying? So, when I went looking, maybe whoever got her, if somebody got her, which had to be the case, didn't crawl off. So, I mean, I knew somebody came there and got her. When I went looking, I was looking for her. I was looking for maybe a blanket. Maybe somebody got something out of the house that I didn't realize was missing. Maybe they dropped something. I mean, I'll tell you somebody else who needs to be questioned. I don't know if y'all really have sat down and lives right behind us. Miles anyway.
I feel so sad for the mother, because I know if it was my little innocent child, it would break my heart in pieces, because I'm tore up right down over this.
That's the sentiment in this Newton County mobile home community, where everyone wants to know what happened to the 2-week-old baby girl who seemingly disappeared Saturday morning without a trace.
Because she was an angel. She was a beautiful little angel.
Those people are funny, man. I mean, they got problems. And her and her mama was always wanting to hold 𝐂𝐸𝐬 every time. Every time they seen her. I wouldn't let them touch her. Because they thought those people were turned off. I mean, I got some mental health issues, don't get me wrong, but I'm not like that.
You talked to him that day.
You know, I remember her out there yelling, saying, oh, I just got back from my mama. And she just kept saying that over and over again. I remember hearing her. But, I mean, I was just looking, naturally when I left that trailer, I was looking for anything. I was looking for her. I was looking for something that might have been dropped. I just know that the first thing that always pops in my mind when I wanted to get, like, say if I felt like probation was going to show up one morning or something, I'd always go in the woods. I always went in those woods. That was the first place I'd go on foot. If I felt like I was in trouble or something. Like just like when I beat dude up. I took all the stuff to the woods. You know what I mean? And I know that sounds bad because, you know, that's where she was found at, somewhere in those woods. But I was looking for anything, you know what I mean? So I went through the woods. And I went through the same path I always take.
Tell me how you walked out of the house, down the front porch steps, and you went to
I went to the right.
Okay.
And I was
down the lane?
Yeah, I walked down the street. And I was looking, you know, looking on the ground. You know what I mean? And I went in the woods. I was like, no, I'm gonna go in the woods because, you know, maybe it's whoever done this, maybe if they were on foot, maybe they went to the woods. It's like everybody always goes to the woods. Anything, you're not gonna go on 36. if you're doing something, you're trying to hide it. You're not going 36, I wouldn't think. I mean, I wasn't really thinking all that clearly to begin with, but I just felt like the woods is the place to look. Or just at least go through there, you know, and get on Henderson Mill Road, which is what I done. I went in the woods, there was, the way it's set up is there's a trailer here, nobody lives in it. And there's a trailer here across the street to the left, which this deer lady lives in. I don't know who else has got living there with her, but it's drove a black Charger. And you go up in between them, and that's how you go in the woods. You know what I mean? With the path. And I went in there, and I walked down the hill, and I think there's a cut. The first cut. You go through that first cut. If you go past that first cut any farther, you're going on, like there's somebody's got a trailer or something, there's a trailer right there or something, you know what I'm saying? So you're basically like going up closer to where somebody lives when you go that way. You know what I mean? And it's not really a trail, it's not really cleared out to go to Henderson Mill like that first cut is. That first cut goes straight to it. And you don't even have to go through any kind of like briars or anything, or no woods or nothing. You know what I mean? So that's the way I always went. That's the way Shane Kidd, when I first went in those woods, I was with Shane Kidd, and he was the one that showed me how to go through. That was the first time I ever been in there. So I went through there. I didn't see nothing. I walked over those shoes. The shoes were still there. I seen that the camouflage jacket was still there. Nothing that wasn't there that I knew was still there. Nothing else was there. There wasn't no blue blanket, which is, I was part of what I was looking for, because I knew that was gone, because she was wrapped up in it. So, you know, I was maybe looking for that. Maybe it was dropped, if somebody was carrying her or whatever. I didn't see nothing but what was already there, the camouflage jacket. I noticed the shoes. And so I kept walking. Like I had that flashlight, and that flashlight was already in those pins. But I noticed, when I noticed the flashlight, you know, in the woods, even when it was light outside, there's places in the woods that's still dark. If you're walking through the trail, you flash the light. Like, especially to the left, because the woods are a whole lot thicker to the left. So, I mean, I would flash that light, you know what I mean? While I was walking, I flashed it. I didn't see nothing out of the ordinary. So I went on ahead and went out. And I got a friend that lives down there about a quarter of a mile down here, Mill, and she hit the Mill out of the woods. There's this girl that lives down there that I was acquainted with. But I told Courtney when I left, I said, when the police get here, let me know, and I'll stop looking, and I'll come back. And that's exactly what I did. I showed you that tape, where I showed her that. And there was something you noticed the message on there where it said that I told her I didn't want to go, I couldn't go to jail. That was referring to the probation. That was like, you know, this is what basically telling her when I come back and talk to the police, they're probably gonna lock me up because I'm running for probation. So I didn't know if the warrant had been put in or not, because it had only been like a week. But that was why I said that. And I didn't admit it then because I didn't want to draw attention to the probation. I didn't know if maybe the violation was there or if it was about to be there. I just didn't want to draw attention to it.
One thing I don't remember, how were y'all communicating over the phone?
Facebook.
Did you have Wi-Fi out there in the woods?
No, that was the phone that I had was a food stamp phone. And
So that cellular service?
no, the phone, it was her cousin Megan's phone. And that night that I left, and she was out running around, and she took the kids over there and left her at Megan let her borrow that phone. Because we had broke our phone in Walmart on accident, like a day before that, or something like that, or whatever. But she had done got her grandma's food stamp phone since then. So I just went ahead and took her cousin Megan's food stamp phone. But the cellular service, the talking, that had already, the minutes was gone. But you could still text. But we wasn't using the text part. We were using Messenger, because it still got 3G data. You know what I mean? So I didn't need Wi-Fi or anything like that. And we were talking through Facebook Messenger, and I went down to the girl's house, and when I got down there, I got to the driveway. That was about around the time Courtney texted and said the police are here. And I said, all right, well tell them I'm coming. You know what I mean? But I'm still I'm still gonna take my time and look to see if I see anything. The whole reason I left was because I was looking for any clue I could find, anything. So I turned around and went the way I came. But instead of going through the woods where I've already been, I went up towards the church. And I stayed on the left side of the road. I went over to the right side of the road one time, and then I remembered that that's not the way you're supposed to do it. When you're walking, you're supposed to walk towards oncoming traffic. So I came back over, and I stayed on the left side of the road, and I walked through the church. And I was still looking on the ground, like, as I was walking, I'm looking on the ground. I cut through the church parking lot, I hit 36 to the left, and I come down through there, and I went into the trailer park, and over there. And I walked up, and as soon as I walked up, see, I'll never forget it, Tim Bell, like, that's the one you need to be talking to right there. He's the one, that's the one y'all want right there, he's the one I did. I mean, I didn't even have a chance hardly to defend myself when I was trying to say something. The officer was like slick cussing me out. But he was telling him to get back too, because he was being pretty religious, which is how he always did towards me. So I shut up, and I did whatever the officer told me to do. You know, he said he quit talking to him, so I stopped talking. And we went in the house, and he asked me what questions, I don't remember all the questions he asked or whatever, but I told him, I gave him answers to what he was asking me if I could. We asked, can y'all, the fingerprint in the back doorknob. One of the officers was like, no, we haven't got to that point yet. We're not doing that, or we can't do that, or something. And that kind of pissed me off, because I'm like, it's a kidnapping. Why can't y'all fingerprint the back doorknob? That had to be where they came in at. Whoever came in there had to come in through the back door. I don't see anybody coming through the front door and us not at least half-assed waking up and seeing them coming through our living room, because the front door's right there in the living room. So we wanted the back door not fingerprinted or whatever. And then, well, something I want to mention before I forget was while we were up here in interrogation, when we went back, Kim was sitting in our house and there was a search warrant on the table. And she said that the officer said that we said that y'all couldn't search the house. Because we never, I actually helped one of the officers do a semi-search.
Right.
Maybe I think it was you. Me and you didn't walk our back, not that bad. Yeah, but I told you I wanted y'all to search, you know what I mean? Whatever y'all gotta do. And, so that pissed me off. I'm like, why are they saying that we denied a search? When we called, and we wanted them out here, we weren't trying to hide anything. We were trying to find the baby, not hide her, you know what I'm saying? So, anyway, I answered the officer's questions or whatever, and then you showed up and you were like, well, I'm going to try to see if we can go up to, what would you call this, LCO or LEC? Yeah, LEC. And I didn't know exactly what you were talking about at first. I just knew you were wanting to take us somewhere to question us, you know what I mean? I was like, sure, you know what I mean, let's go. Whatever you gotta do. And, you know, you worked that out or whatever. And the officer walked me to the car. You know, he asked me if I had anything else told him or whatever. And I was like, no, I got a cell phone, I got my ID card. And I had that flashlight, I believe. And I showed him I had it. He didn't handcuff me or nothing. I got in the back of the car, came up here and y'all interrogated. Or whatever, you know, whatever you want to call it. But, I mean.
Tell me about the next day. And again, I appreciate you being moving stuff.
Well, we slept at Craig that night.
Right.
And we left and we got coffee that morning. And we came back and we took the kid that we took. One of the kids, I don't know what that place is called. It's an RV park, but it ain't Riverside. It's like on the other side. And I couldn't tell you where it was at really. I don't know. No, it was no, that's Riverside. We went there too, but at first we had to drop Diane and the kids off. Alright, well anyway, we ended up Matter of fact, at Craig, Pam, Courtney's mama Pam, Courtney's brother's old lady, and her child showed up. And I think her dad was driving. Lauren's dad was driving. They showed up at Craig. Well, we all decided that we were going to follow Pam. We were going to go to Riverside. Courtney got in the car with her mama and Lauren, and I think Lauren's dad and her kid. And they went, and I got in the car with Craig and Diane, and we had to go to somewhere. It was one of them parks and drop one of the kids off, the baby. We dropped the baby off. Gunner. We dropped him off. I don't know, I can't remember if we dropped the other kids off or not, but we ended up going to Riverside. And I got out and went in, and Courtney and Pam were already there, and Lauren had left, because they were going to pick up her other vehicle, because her dad wasn't going to drive her around no more. She was going to get her own vehicle and come back and get us, and we were going to come to the trailer park, and Courtney was going to get on the news and make a statement and try to, please give our kitty back. So, we stayed at the trailer. We were probably there for an hour and a half, 2 hours. Craig and Diane left and went on to the trailer park. They were talking about something. I think they were forming a search party. But there was somebody else forming a search party. You know what I mean? They wanted to be a part of that. Well, I asked Kim the night before when we got back from up here if she thought that it would be smart for me to involve myself in a search party. And she told me that she didn't think it would be smart unless I had somebody that didn't have anything to do with anything with me, in case I was the one that found her, that it wouldn't look good, you know what I mean? So I just decided not to get involved in any of that. And, anyway, Craig and Diane left and went to the trailer park. Me and Courtney stayed with Pam, and we were waiting on Lauren to get back to take us to the trailer park. Well, we got in the car with Lauren when she got back or whatever. I mean, we were in there doing drugs at Riverside. We were in there. There was a little bit of dope in the pipe. I hit it, Courtney hit it. Lauren didn't hit it. Lauren don't do it. I don't even think Pam wasn't doing it at that time. Me and Courtney hit a little bit of dope in there. And Lauren got back and we sat for a minute. Pam had one hitter with some weed in it. We hit that. Passed it around for a minute, and then we got in the car. Well, as we were going down the road, I don't know if it was whatever, I think it was the city police, but it had the sirens on. And for some reason, I started thinking about probation violation. Maybe I was gonna let me slide up out of there without knowing that I had a probation violation. You know what I mean? Maybe he overlooked it or something. I'm like, but he probably caught a mistake. Now, so I'm thinking, Pam starts wigging out, wanting to know why the police are coming like that, why that police is lit up like that, driving toward Riverside after we just left it. Because Craig was like texting Courtney back and forth. I don't know what they were talking about, but he started like getting real antsy, like y'all need to come on, like. And when we got in the car, Courtney lost cell service. And it was going in and out. And Craig sent a message saying, where y'all at? Are y'all coming? And she was going in and out of service or wherever. My phone was dead. I guess Pam's phone was dead. Motherfuckers in this car. None of y'all got a phone charger. None of y'all got a phone that's got power or service or any of that. And everybody was like, their phones are dead. So finally, I think Courtney gets a message on Facebook and said, baby found. I don't know who it was from. I think it might have been Craig. Baby found. So Courtney's trying to, like, we're freaking out. Courtney's like, she's trying to get the damn phone to work. And she's wanting to know, well, how is she found? She found she alive? You know what I mean? And what's going on? She's trying to figure it out, and the cell phone's not acting right. Well, finally, when we're on 36, I've been praying, please don't let my baby be dead, please don't let my baby be dead, but not knowing whether she was or not, I didn't want to hear if she was. I didn't want to see it. And I was scared of the probation violation. I didn't want to see my kid dead. And then Kim called. And when she called, she started screaming that she was found on the side of the road. She's been on the side of the road all night, what she said. She said she's been on the side of the road all night. She's dead. Chris done it. You hear me? Chris did it, Courtney. Chris did it. I'm telling you, Chris done it. That was too much for me. Like, I'm already scared. Probation. I'm just scared all the way around. I was scared. You know what I mean? I didn't want my baby to be dead. I didn't want to go to jail. I didn't want to see her dead. And that was when I started telling Lauren to stop the car. I can't do it. I don't want to see her like that. And I mean, I kind of felt like I was going to go to jail that day. I mean, I pretty much knew I would. So, I knew if I went to jail, I wasn't going to be able to do anything to find out anything about my baby. Now I know she's dead. Maybe I can find out who killed her to stay out if I run. They don't have a chance to lock me up for the probation or even whatever they want to lock me up for. But I mean, I ain't gonna lie, I felt like when we left that day from up here, I mean, you made me feel like a suspect. You made me feel like a suspect. I'm not gonna lie. You made me feel like you were looking at me. And you made me feel like you thought I done it. And I had that